Investors and traders, welcome to the channel Market Chart Pattern. Today is 12th of May 2025. Hope everyone is having a good day. So we'll take a look at the key technology stocks for this video segment. As always, the video is for educational purposes only. It is not a financial advice. So let's start by taking a look at the stock of Meta. Meta is one of our favorite technology stocks. It is playing actually a key role in artificial intelligence as well. A lot of people might not actually know because they associate Meta with Facebook, etc. But they are actually releasing quite a lot of their models out. If you compare those models with some of the other models out there, that's a different story. But the key point is Meta has a lot of data available which they can use to train and improve their models. But what we are looking at today is, of course, the stock price, and the price action and the pattern that we were watching was this big ABCD. So here on the 7th of April, it went right into this key support region, and then we had a double bottom right here. So the stock was not able to convincingly take out the lows of 7th of April, and the next day, the following day, there was just no follow through. And what we were looking for was when it went to right into the 78.6% retracement, that we could see a pullback right into this 20-day moving average. We didn't see that, which actually indicates the stock is much stronger. It just kind of went into consolidation, formed a higher base, and we have seen a really nice move to the upside, where it has gone and actually closed above the point C. So this is really key because it is closing above point C. So therefore, it is actually, we didn't really get this ABCD right here, but it just looks very strong right now. So let's take a retracement. I'm going to remove this. In fact, I'll just put these expansions out there because the market is likely to get to 675 as a shorter term target, and let's see what sort of a retracement we get from here. So we'll just use our tool and draw a retracement, and let's see. Today it just closed right at the 78.6%, excuse me, 61.8% retracement, but I believe the key is this region where it could find some stiff resistance. Otherwise, the stock looks quite strong, and it could be actually going for a new all-time high, which is quite possible. So let's take a look at this on the weekly chart. We have this really big ABCD which had completed right here. We had the target of 690. The market went higher by about $50, and then we had a 35% move lower, which is actually a bear market in this stock. So this is the power of the patterns. It's such a big pattern that had completed, and now what we are looking at is a strong move higher. It's getting into this upper boundary of the resistance that we had highlighted, and if it likes to continue, then what we could also actually anticipate is that perhaps the stock might be actually doing something like this. It needs to obviously get above the 78.6% retracement, but the shorter term targets could be 800 and then $900 per share level. That is quite possible, which would indicate just the strength in this stock. Now, of course, a lot of it depends upon the overall market. For that, I did a video yesterday, so I will encourage you to watch that. And then while we are at it, let's take a look at the monthly chart as well. So here we go. This is the monthly chart of Meta, and here what we can see is that if we just go back to the lows it formed, which was an exact 78.6% retracement you can see this point C right here. The stock did a exact 38.2% retracement. So on different time frames, I'm indicating different key support levels. When the market hit those levels on the 7th of April and then did a double bottom, it was a very strong support region, and that's why we are seeing a pretty nice strength move in the stock of Meta. So this is something that we need to actually consider because of the multi-time analysis. Okay, multi-time frame analysis. Now let's take a look at what is happening in the world of Elon Musk and Tesla. So we know that Elon Musk is actually officially I think he made a statement. He had a last day with the Doge, so I think he's focusing more on Tesla and his other businesses. But I think he's still involved. Anyway, what the Tesla stock is indicating is it had a 56% correction, but the Tesla stock is a high beta stock, and it has done these kind of retracements before as well, and then it's able to make new all-time highs, and then we get these sharp declines. So this is how this stock actually moves. Right here we also had a roughly 55% decline, and the stock made new all-time highs. Whether it's going to repeat its history of making new all-time highs, I think we'll have to wait and see. But where it is right now is look for the number of weeks it has held this key support level, which I'll show you on the daily chart, which we have been tracking on the daily chart into more precise levels. And right here it is at the 38.2% retracement at the $320 per share level. Getting above this, I would like to really see two consecutive closes positive above the 38.2% retracement on the weekly chart. Then it's going to indicate a pretty strong strength coming into this stock. Now there is a possibility, let me change the color to make it a little bit different. Let me make it blue. Whether we could have an ABCD in the making for this, and if there is, then we could be looking at something like this, where the stock could actually move to $540 per share level. That of course remains a possibility with this pattern formation. Now the key thing is these lows, especially the 7th of April lows, they need to be held, because that's going to be our point C. So I will label these later on, but just wanted to point out, there we go. So I think 525 to 540 is going to be pretty strong. That's our objective. If as long as point C is held, then I believe we are in this ABCD to the upside. And then we could also see $600 per share level. But this 7th of April lows, they need to be held, because that is our point C for this pattern formation. Now let's move down to the daily chart, and here we can see that there were a number of these patterns they were completing right here, and then there was a big move to the downside on that day of about 15.5%, and that just closed the gap. And then what we have seen is a lot of consolidation taking place around this over a course of several weeks, and now right into 38.2% retracement. This is what we were anticipating actually. This is why I've highlighted like this. But now ideally we would like the stock to actually break this level to the upside for the bulls. Okay, now let's take a look at the stock of Apple. So Apple stock, out of the Magnificent Seven, Apple seems to have a fair amount of trouble because of the tariff situation. But today the kind of news that came out, it was really helped the Apple stock. It was up about 6.18%, and it has already moved into this resistance zone we had identified, and then it pulled back. And this pullback was right into this 38.2% retracement, went a little bit lower, but it's just hovering around it. And then what we are looking at potentially is a ABCD structure like this. So 1-to-1 price projection like this is possible, but what I am targeting is this actually 225, because that's going to be the 61.8% retracement, also point C. I think it's got a chance to get here, maybe a little bit beyond that, but that is what we are watching in the stock of Apple. Okay, and now let's take a look on the weekly chart as well. So here we go. This is the weekly chart of Apple, here we go. Now the most interesting thing is that look at this trend line, long-term trend line, since going back January of 2023. It's actually been intact. So the market tried to break down, but on the weekly basis never closed below that, and then another attempt right here. So that also indicates, there is some buying interest in the stock of Apple on the weekly chart. Now let's take a look at Amazon. All right, so I think I need to clean up my chart because there's a lot of lines here. Let me actually clean some of it right now. But it just indicates the amount of support, coming in from different different time frames. So we'll just keep that. Yeah, I'll remove that as well, and also remove that. Okay. Okay, so here, but really nice gap today. Look at the gap. The stock has been up 8%, but it's coming off from this confluence of two retracements, 61.8% and 50% of this move. And if we just go back to the daily chart, here we go. And on the daily chart, it's a fairly constructive formation as well, because there's a lot of consolidation taking place right here. It had hit these really key support levels right here, and of course this ABCD, a one-to-one price projection, which is in the black lines. And then it did a double bottom formation right here, went a little bit below, and then the retracement levels that we had plotted, but that is fine. And it's got a pretty big now it's up like 30, almost 30% from the bottom. Now, of course, with the kind of news that came out with improvement in terms of the tariff situation with China, that's going to help the Amazon retail side of things quite a lot. So I think that is being reflected in the enthusiasm. However, you can see that the stock still closed on the in the negative, in the sense the low of the stock is lower than the open. But again, look at this massive gap formation. So what do we expect now? I think we can see that it closed right at the 61.8% retracement. Getting above this, the stock is actually getting stronger. Now let's take a look at Microsoft. So Microsoft is out of the Magnificent Seven, is also one of our favorite Magnificent Seven stocks. So Meta and Microsoft, and they both have to do with the artificial intelligence. But from a pattern perspective, it had completed this pattern, which is basically the entire 2022 bear market, right at key levels. And then look at look at this rally which is taking place. Now I'm gonna clean up the stock, the chart a little bit, because there are a lot of lines here, which I leave normally, but I think that is also making the chart a little bit less visible. But this is also to show you guys that how I'm plotting these and how I'm actually following these levels. So getting above this 61.8% retracement, really important. And now I think what this stock is looking to do is basically trying to make an attempt towards new all-time highs. So we could be looking at 503 and 546 as potential targets. And then what it also indicates is that this CD leg is actually being extended as well. So Microsoft, fantastic stock. Now let's take a look at Netflix. So Netflix, yeah, it made new all-time highs, just kind of consolidating right now. And now let's take a look at Shopify. So Shopify, I think it's finding support from here. It's got a chance now, because look, it's just a rising trend line. I don't think I can draw a parallel channel for this one, but it is at certain key levels. Let's see, because we were following it on the daily chart. So here we go. I think the earnings came out, and then today look at this gap formation, right to the 61.8% retracement after completing this nice ABCD. So there's a chance it's starting another ABCD to the upside, and I think this entire decline, I believe, is equal to the decline we have seen previously. So this is the no, it's not actually. So I thought it might be by the looks of it. Anyway, I think it was just the downtrend line. So the structure seems to be now an A, B, C, D to the upside, and looks like it wants to go and tackle the highs and make new all-time highs actually. So really interesting what is happening with the Shopify. Looks like the e-commerce is perhaps trying to make a comeback. The social media probably is also going to try to make a comeback as well. So there we go. This is what we are looking at Shopify now. Let's take a look at Zscaler. There we go. So look at Zscaler. Let me actually go to the weekly chart. Here we go. Here we go. So there's a pretty good buying which came into Zscaler today, and I think what we have been anticipating for a really long time, we're probably in this ABCD, the blue one, and it's likely to go at least challenge these highs around 260. Then 286 is our target, and finally 320. By the looks of it, it is moving in that direction. Point C is our point C. If it breaks down this one, then things change. But the kind of strength that we are looking at in Zscaler, look at these 4 or 5 weeks, they're pretty strong, and I think at this point B right here is coming into play. Now let's take a look at Roblox. So Roblox is really interesting. It's our play on the metaverse. Do not forget the theme of metaverse is still out there. And what we're looking at is basically this pattern formation that I highlighted, and I think we are in this black ABCD higher, and we could see 95 to 100 being reached on Roblox as long as this point, which is our point C, is held. Okay, now let's take a look at CrowdStrike. One of the subscribers, they asked for this, and I did the analysis in the last video. So here we have had a week in which you can see not a nice looking candle, and today of course the week has just started. This is the past week when it was closing into these highs, so kind of a double topping formation, some resistance. We'll take a look on the daily chart, but it does appear we are in this shaded region, and we could be looking at 500 to 550. 550 is, I think we could see a pullback. Not sure entirely to this magnitude, but it could pull back right into this structural support. That remains a possibility, but you can see that the stock is, you know, moving in this kind of a channel formation right here, which I've drawn. Is more it's not really a what I wanted to say was looks like more of a wedge pattern formation, but the shaded region is the one that I'm following, right? Then if we take a look at this on the daily chart, and on the daily chart what we can see is this this market made a double bottom right here, and it could be a double top formation. We have seen some sort of a pullback right to the 20-day moving average, and today we haven't seen a follow through the downside, so it looks like it might just get negated. It was a small not even a completed ABCD, but a small pullback right into this. Let's see what sort of retracement it was. If we just draw it from here, not even sure if it was yeah, it wasn't even 38.2%. So yeah, well, not from here, but from here it was probably a 50% from this level. So there we go. I think there is either two things can happen. It's an ABCD, so it could hit 395. Which would be pretty strong support, actually, also coming from this structural support, or we might have seen the end of this pullback right at the 20-day moving average, and then we are looking at maybe making to move towards new all-time highs, but it does look like we are in an ABCD to the upside. Getting below 395, you know, I think then it can come and fill this gap right here. So that could 380 could be a target as well, but it'll be a really strong support in my opinion at 395 it gets here. So pretty strong looking stock in my opinion, CrowdStrike. And I think we have covered the major stocks. I think there was one more stock which Cloudflare. So I haven't looked at Cloudflare in detail in terms of the patterns, but we'll try to take a look at this really quickly, but I think I'll do a detailed video on this one. So let's see what sort of a retracement it had made. Looks like a 78.6% retracement there. And let's see if we had a ABCD 1-to-1 price projection, and let's see. Yeah, it came pretty close, not exactly exact levels. That's why I think I need to find the proper harmonics working in this, which are resonating with these levels. But we can see that these key levels were really close by the 78.6%, 61.8%, and we have seen a decline, a substantial decline in the stock. Here we go. And let's see what sort of retracement it was. Looks like to be a 61.8% retracement in Cloudflare, right? Yeah, to the tick. 7th of April was it? 7th of April. So there we go. So that's a really interesting now. And with this kind of move, look how above it is. Especially today, in comparison to 20-day moving average, there's a lot of strength in the stock. So I think the key pivot point is this 61.8% retracement, and the chances are we might be in an ABCD to the upside. But the caveat is that this stock is below the old highs of 2021. So this is where we have to do. We have to be a little bit careful with this stock, but it'll be really good if it's able to get above this really key resistance level right here in this region, and that would indicate that we are actually in a bigger ABCD to the upside, and the stock might actually be looking to make new all-time highs. But this is the way the stock has moved. If you look at this, it's like a Mount Everest pattern. It just goes parabolic, and then in a similar fashion just air comes out of it, and boom boom boom, and it seems to have done something similar right here. It just goes parabolic. This, if you just look at this visually, this and this look very similar. Now the question is whether this rise is something like this. It looks a little bit different to me in comparison to this one, but we'll find out quite soon, because if we begin to get into this sort of situation, which is a range bound and distribution, then we'll have our answers. But right now it is moving high on, like, it's just flying high. It's also right at the 61.8% retracement, so this entire zone 142 to 157 is really key for this stock. So I'd like to get into this one, and then we'll see how it's going to behave there, whether we're going to see something like this that we saw, or whether it's just going to be smooth sailing, and it begins to move much higher. So this is what we are watching in this for the key technology stocks that we are following on the channel. So thank you very much for for watching the video, and if you find this video educational, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, then please do so, and also hit that bell icon button. That way you will not miss any new videos. Thank you very much for watching the video. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.